All right, we are live. Sorry about the little bit of a delay. It actually took a little bit longer for it to go live, so sorry about that. But as they say, better late than never. Hello, everybody. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics. And these are the 4 books that you helped me pick out to go get sent out to be graded. Every month, I send 4 books to PGX. Whether you use them or not, that's up to you. But if you use them, look in the description. There are some discounts if you send 10 or more comics to PGX to get graded, and you use the code We Love Comics Free Press. You can get one of them pressed for free. Also, if you use the code We Love Comics Graders Notes for $5 each, you can actually have the Graders Notes printed on the back of the slab. I love that feature, and it's one that I highly recommend for people, especially if you're going to sell a book, because this way it makes the person grading the book a little bit more responsible for what number grade they're giving it, because all the information you'll need will be right there for you to see. Now, obviously, if you don't want to pay the $5, you can email them and they will give you your grader's notes for free, but I do like them on the back of the slab. So that was one of the recommendations I made to Daniel Patterson, the owner of PGX, and he was listening, so I always think that's cool. So check out the description of this video for all the other discounts. I want to let anybody know that participated in the auction, which went off flawlessly. So thank you to all of you that joined. Many of the comics, especially the key comics, did not sell. So if you're interested in some of the comics that I sell, go check out that auction. Basically what you can do is if you see somebody place the bid, then just skip past that one, because every single person that placed a bid has paid. So it'll make it a little bit faster to go through the auction. And if you get towards the end, there's more of the key issues. But every book, except maybe the exception of the first book, is all pretty much decent key issues. After the fact, somebody contacted me, and you can contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com on any of those and let me know if you're interested in them. The Transformers book, somebody messaged me this morning and paid for it, so that's no longer available. And the Amazing Spider-Man #7 is no longer available. But question is, why use PGX? Well, the reason I use PGX is about 3.5 to 4 years ago, I came up with an idea, and I contacted all 3 major companies. I contacted CGC, CBCS, and PGX and said, if I do a video that advertises your website and your business, could I get a couple of comics for graded for free? CGC didn't reply or ever respond. CBCS never replied or didn't respond. PGX was the only one that did. I can get 4 books sent in for free for doing videos like this. It includes pressings, dry cleanings, signature verification, and grader's notes. So they've been nothing but nice to me in the past 4 years. I've been doing this every month for about, like I said, about 4 years. There's maybe been 3 or 4 times where I question the grade, but if you're talking once a month, 4 comics every month for 4 years, and you can only find about 4 comics that were questionable grades or just wrong grades, that's not bad. So whether you like them or not, that's up to you. There's many different reasons to get your books graded, and I've shown on my auctions that PGX books will sell. So, I mean, I always tell people, if you want to believe the myths of what other people regurgitate, you are more than welcome to do that. I am more of a leader than a follower when it comes to what I do, but each person has the right way and the right reasons, so never let anybody else influence you unless you're taking their good advice and you feel it's right. But I always say, give a company a shot, because no company is as bad as some people say, and no company is as good as some people say. You always have to make sure you do your own research and do your own experiments with a company or a product or whatever, because it may not work for 5 million people, but if it works for you, that's great. And on the other end, it may work for 5 million people, but it doesn't work for you. So never really base your decisions on what the masses think. Because like I've said before, remember, the masses at one time thought the world was flat. So what do they know? So with that being said, I have 4 comics. You guys, every month, I allow you to vote for them. I switch how many. This time you voted for all 4 of the comics. So I let you guys decide. And then I will be doing that again in another day or two, where I'll have 4 comics that you will pick. I will be picking 3 of the 4, so you guys will pick the last one. I'll show 5 different comics, and you pick one of those. So your votes will actually make a key factor in this next one. So hopefully you'll check that out. So let's see. And you have Beans says, my preference is CBS and hate CGC. I buy PGX slabs for sure. Damn, there is really no way. And Joey the Stuntmeyer says, did you hear about PGX East? Yes, I do. I have heard of them. I actually didn't hear it from Daniel Patterson, so that was a little surprising. I heard it from one of my subscribers. But yeah, PGX has opened a location in Florida, but I think they're only doing express and certain limitations on what you could send in and get graded. So I haven't utilized them yet. But yeah, go check their website out, because they are expanding. They have a partnership now, and maybe, who knows what direction it'll go. But like I said, you use the companies and you buy the products you find that make you happy, and you'll always be right. So that's the best way I can say it. So let's put on the video camera so you can see the 4 comics that you guys voted for. And the reason I do that is it just makes it a little bit more inclusive for you guys. So we don't need that. So this way you're not just spectating, you're actually a part of the process. So here's the first book that you guys chose. This, of course, is Silver Surfer #1. Anthony says, does anybody currently know what PGX turnaround time is? There's no exact date, obviously, but I can tell you this. PGX is faster than CBCS and CGC without having to spend extra money for a quicker turnaround. So their 30 days is depending on when you're sending your books in. I usually get my books back within 45 to about 60 days. So about a month and a half to 2 months, you'll get your books back without having to spend extra money to get your books sped up. Because many people say, oh yeah, I got my CGC books, for example, back in 3 months, but they fail to tell you they spent the extra money to get the faster turnaround. So that means you're spending extra money to still have it later. But again, it always depends on the time of the year when you send books to anybody. All right, so this is Silver Surfer #1. This is the origin of the Silver Surfer, not his first appearance or anything like that, but it is his first solo issue. The front cover is split from about the bottom staple down. Otherwise, this would have been a higher grade than what I'm saying it should be. Now, when I'm grading these, I'm basing it on what I think the grades will be after they press it and dry clean it. So that's why I could be off by like a half a grade to a grade sometimes, because depending on what needs to be pressed to dry cleaned, it can significantly increase the grades on some of these books. But obviously, when it comes to a split, it's about here down from the bottom staple, but the bottom staple is still attached, but here down there is a split, so that will dramatically lower this. But this is absolutely a key book to get. I bought these a couple years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, so I only paid $132.89 for this book. So it can come back a 0.5, and I'll do fine, but it's not going to do that, because you could see the cover looks great. There's color break increase along the corner here, couple of creases along the spine, which is normal for this book, because it's a very thick book, so when you open it, especially with a black cover, and especially a book from like 1968. Yeah, I think it's 1968. These books, they're going to have been read. So I'm going to predict with that split between a 4.0 and a 5.0. I think 5.0 is pushing it. But like I said, even if it gets a 3.5, I'll still be happy compared to the price that I paid, especially when I tell the people all the time, when you're talking about speculation and investing in comics, and many people that watch my channel are into that, because when I do a spec video, I get more views on those than anything else. So whether people like it or not, that's what's popular. But I always tell people, when you are investing in comics, first of all, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you do your research, but base prices not on what they're valued at now, but where they're going. Because we know Silver Surfer is going to end up in the MCU with the Fantastic Four. So, of course, Fantastic Four 48 and 49 are going to be the most desirable. This will be the next. So these books are on their way up. So, as you saw in my auction, I sell comics that are still continuing to rise instead of at their peak or already past their peak and their prices are going down. Because if you're doing that for investments, that's bad. But if you're buying them because you want to get them cheaper, the best time to buy a comic is either before it becomes popular or way after it becomes popular and everybody starts selling them to get rid of them. Because most people buy high and sell low instead of doing the opposite. So I'm predicting, like I said, about a 4.0 to 5.0 with off-white to white pages. So we'll see how close I am with that one. This is a very low-grade book. But as they say, low grade is never is better. Well, as I always say, low grade is better than no grade. Now, many people did not touch this book. As a matter of fact, this was an auction. I was the only one that bid. But like I said, because I base things on not where the value is now, I base it on where they're going. This can get a 0.5, and I would more than double my money. Because you'll see if you go on like places like GoCollect.com or even just sales on eBay, even lower grades of this book are starting to get up there. I already have 3 other copies. So this is Avengers #1. You guys voted for this. Now, they clipped out the top part here, and they clipped out the Hulk and the main characters on the page. They kept Loki. So I'm not sure how they will grade this. It won't be a 0.5, but I'm predicting about a 1.0 to a maximum of a 1.8. I would be happy with a 1.0. It probably would come back a 1.0 to a 1.5, but I put the extra range just in case, because, like I said, I don't know how they do this, because the cover is still mostly intact, but, you know, it's been, some kid probably liked it and ended up cutting them out and putting them on their school book. But I only paid $523.99 for this book. Go look up what a 0.5 is. A 0.5 is well over $1,000 at this point. So I could easily turn around and sell this book for people who may not be able to afford a 9.8 or a 7.5 or even a 4.0 of this book and want a cheaper alternative, because whether you have a 0.5 or you have a 9.8, you still own it. So I understand people want the highest grades possible, but if you can't afford them, then what good is waiting for something you cannot obtain? To me, that never made sense. So because I love comics, I will be one of the people that will buy these even if they're coverless. This one obviously is not. So for $523, between a 1.0 and 1.8 off-white to white pages, definitely worth taking the chance on, in my opinion. What I love about most people not wanting to buy some of the books that I am willing to buy is that means less competition, which means I get the best chance of getting the best price. I win both ways. I don't follow the masses, and I highly recommend people don't do that either. All right, another one you voted for. This is obviously, like I said, I bought these about 3 years ago, right before the spikes. This book hasn't seen anything yet. You think it's expensive. It's got way more room to go. This is Amazing Spider-Man #129. I have about 6 or 7 copies of this book because I knew it's just a matter of time. And the TV show really helped it, but I would love to see him play the Punisher in the MCU. Probably get a TV show. I would not be shocked if somehow, maybe in Season 2 or Season 3, if it gets it for Moon Knight, that you wouldn't see the Punisher, because he's, you know, more of a rated R character, so he may not be on the main MCU timeline, but I could see him being in a TV show, either in his solo, like they did with Netflix, or part of something like Moon Knight, where it's going to be a little bit more graphic. This one does have tape here and here. It goes all the way to the back. There is some tape inside the book, but tape is not restoration. It is allowed, especially in older books. But I only paid $378 for this book. So again, if it came back a 0.5, I would still make out, but this is not a 0.5, even with the tape, because there's no rips in the staples. I guess sometimes kids, maybe they heard that if you tape them before it happens, they won't happen. So the tape really isn't protecting any tears. Honestly, I think it's more prevention. So again, it's not going to be restoration or anything, But I paid $378. I'm predicting about a 3.5 to 4.5. Even if this came back a 3.0, I'd still be happy. Again, key issue to have. All right, last one. This is a book I was telling people for years to get. I have about, I think, 4 copies of this book. One of them I sold to one of my subscribers. Kind of regret selling it that quickly because I knew where it was going. But hey, if it helps somebody out and they got a great deal on it and they're going to make a heck of a lot of money, I'm happy for them. But this is a book, again, it's expensive, but you ain't seen nothing yet. And when I bought this, people are like, oh, you spent that much money on this book. Well, see the prices now and see where they're going to go. So this is the one that was the highest voted for, which is Amazing Spider-Man number 14, which is the first appearance of the Green Goblin on his one and only debut of the Miracle Vacuum. Before, you know, what I call this little vacuum broomstick. Before he got his glider in Amazing Spider-Man 17, which is his second appearance. It is the first meeting between Spider-Man and the Hulk. This was, I believe, one of the books I was selling on my auctions the other night. No one bought it. So I was actually a little shocked about that. And in a way, I was actually happy because Norman Osborn is going to be in the MCU. They've already confirmed that. And you know eventually he's going to turn into the Green Goblin. I don't think right away he's going to be the Green Goblin, but you'd be crazy not to use, arguably, one of Spider-Man's number one villains. I mean, a toss-up these days is between Venom and Green Goblin as his really number one nemesis. Obviously, Spider-Man's got a lot of very, very cool nemesises, like Doc Ock, which is one I was selling that no one bought. I can understand it's a little pricey. But you have the Lizard, you have Electro, you have, who else? Scorpion, Rhino, the Vulture, I don't know if I said the Vulture, Sandman. I mean, he's got some great enemies. But you guys voted for this. It does have, the staples are intact, but the staples are barely hanging on. So what I did was, on the back of this book, I wrote on it, that the staples are barely hanging on, please remove carefully. So don't assume that somebody that doesn't own your book and doesn't really care about your book is going to, number one, know about that if you don't tell them, and number two, be as careful as you would removing a comic. So don't be afraid if you send it into anywhere to get graded. If there's special things you think the person opening this book or grading this book should know about, put a piece of tape on the back of this bag and write down whatever it is. So, if I didn't do that, and the person was maybe in a hurry or didn't care, or, you know, it just happened where they popped the staple, they'll just assume that it was that way. Or, you know, many times they'll just say, oh, well, it probably happened during shipping. None of them ever take responsibility no matter what company you go to. So, if you put down what it is that's wrong with it, or potentially wrong with it, they're now aware of it. So the person reading this might say, all right, I now know one of the staples is barely hanging on, so maybe he or she will take extra care, or at least a little bit more care, when they remove this and they open it to inspect it. So don't be afraid to ever do that. So I paid for this book only $695. Again, a 0.5 at this point would be worth it, but this isn't a 0.5. It has the minor defects and everything, but it does hold up very well. Most of the damage is around, like I said, the staples are barely hanging on, but staples are still intact. It presents well. So I'm saying about a 3.0 to a 3.5. So I'm getting a little closer in the range on this one, because that's where I think it's going to land with off-white pages. So those are the books. We got Amazing Spider-Man 14, Amazing Spider-Man 129, Avengers number 1, and Silver Surfer number 1. So you guys voted for those 4, so thank you for all those that participated. The next day or so, I will be showing the next 4 books that I will be getting sent to be graded. I'm picking 3 of the 4, and then I'll show 5 other books. You guys and gals will decide which one of those you want to see as the 4th book. So like I said, there's going to be a lot more of your vote that's going to matter, because the highest one is the only one that's going to get picked. So hopefully you will choose wisely. So thank you very much for everybody participating. Again, if you bought from my auctions, after this is over, I will be packing everything up and shipping them all out priority mail today. So thank you everybody that participated and honored their bids. Whether you watched it or not, go check it out if you haven't. And like I said, there's many of the comics that did not sell. So if you're interested in any of them, hit me up at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Obviously, that address and other information is in the description of this video. Don't forget to sign up for the cashback bonus. If you click on this link that I've provided in the live chat, and I'll post it right now, but it's also in the description. If you click on the link and sign up and you spend $30 or more within the first 90 days, you'll get a $30 cashback bonus. So it's definitely worth it. Take advantage of that. So let's pick today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. I want to thank the 9 people that were kind enough to hit the like button. I always appreciate those that take the time to do that. We're going to go with Do You Have Beans? And we're going to go with Big Dave Loves Comics. You are both today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. And you know, I'm going to do one more. We're going to go with Vinny Whitlock. So all 3 of you are today's surprise subscriber shoutouts, which means, you know, you don't have to be a subscriber, but hopefully you will if you haven't. If you have a YouTube video, you could post a link in the comment section of this video once it uploads to either your YouTube channel itself or to one of your videos. If you'd rather post a link to one of your social networks, you can do that. Or if you sell anything on eBay, Etsy, Square, any of those places, and you want to share a link to one of your sales, you could do that instead. I'll leave it up to you. Just keep in mind that I do have to approve them first, so you will not see the link posted right away. This prevents spammers from spamming, and I also want to make sure it's not something that's inappropriate for my viewers. So if you're one of the people that browses my comment section, and I hope you do, people love it when people thumb up people's comments. If you see a link, that means it has been approved for all audiences, so go support some of the other channels that come here. It's my way of saying thank you. So let me know what you thought about this in the comment section. 14 people hit the like button, 21 people are watching. I thank all the people that participated in the live chat. Hopefully these will come back quickly, and we'll do like I always do. I reveal them live. We unbox them and learn the grades together. I never know what the grades are. I love the fact of finding out and doing it on a live video. So there's no editing. There's no tomfoolery or anything like that. It's just right in front of you to make up your own mind. So thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. The comics that people paid for in the auction will be mailed out today, priority mail. So they should probably get to your house, depending on where you live in the United States, between Friday and probably no later than Tuesday. So just look in your mailbox for the next couple of days. And thanks for watching. And don't forget, it is not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. I hope you all have a great day. And I will see you next video. Go check out that auction. Go see some of those comics for sale. You're going to like what you see. Peace out.